welcome back up the director, Sebastián Cordero.
Also Karolina, Wydra, who's Katya.
I'll kick things off and give you guys a moment. You know, being a science fiction fan, I think the thing that I and a lot of us on staff really were drawn to is that this is kind of hard science fiction and that the science is really there, and you have the involvement of NASA and JPL and all these, you know, amazing scientists. At what point in the project did they kind of come on board, and, you know, were things written? Were you working with them to kind of write, you know, a lot of what's happening in the film?
Well, basically, when I first read, you know, the first version of the script when I came on board, the science element of the film was already very, very present there, you know, from the start. You know, that was part of the concept, to be really to stick very much to the, you know, the hard science behind a space mission like this, you know. Even though there are many things that today would be impossible in the near future, you know, they could happen, and we wanted to make sure we were as faithful as possible at that. And very early on, I think we were lucky enough to have you know, quite a few scientists come on board the project as advisors. You know, actually here in the theater is Steve Vance, who was one of our advisors from JPL. Him together with Kevin Ham were, I think, our two guides in terms of you know, asking all the questions. You know, they read through several drafts of the script. I was lucky enough to get to visit JPL, which was you know, very inspiring. And you know, they basically, I think they basically paved the way for us to you know, to show us what could and could not happen there. There were you know, probably more than a dozen other advisors. You know, we went, we visited SpaceX. We talked to other people at NASA. We had a lot of support from NASA for, you know, all the footage that we use for the, you know, for the takeoff and for, you know, some of the documentary footage. We spoke also to you know, oceanographers and different people who helped us, you know, also try to figure out what, you know, when designing the possibility of this creature and this environment under, you know, under the ice of Europa, who really helped us you know, make that come true in a realistic fashion. But it really was a very organic process. You know, I feel that more than any film I've done before, here the film took over, you know, and you know, I felt that I was only a catalyst trying to allow, you know, all these things to come into the film, and thankfully everyone in the team was very supportive of the idea of making it as realistic and as, you know, as hard science fiction as possible, and you know, it was a big challenge, but you know, I think we had a lot of support to do that, you know, and you know, it was really you know, probably my biggest relief was after the first time that you know, that the guys from JPL saw the film, and I heard that they were happy with it. It was, you know, I could sleep that night, so that was good.
Do you guys?
Oh yes, we had an astronaut come to the set.
Oh,
you know.
wow. And
Yes.
he was the one that went to the Hubble, right?
Yes.
And he actually said that his glove did rip.
Oh wow.
He had that experience, and that's
Yes.
what, right?
Yeah, we were inspired by that story to incorporate that into the spacewalk. And with Mike Massimino, who's you know, this astronaut who, if you watch the IMAX Hubble 3D movie, he's in there.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, the other thing is you've got such an amazing cast of people that have been in a lot of different international cinema, as well as some people that we've, you know, seen in American cinema as well. How did you assemble the cast, you know, and what was it like working, you know, kind of with the science in there, you know, how hard as an actress was it, you know, to like get into that role?
Well, first I'll talk about putting together the cast. Well, we were also very lucky. We had an amazing casting director, A.B. Kaufman, working on the film. And at first, when I first read the script, the concept was we were going to cast all unknowns because of the found footage element. But gradually into it, we said, well, no, we don't need to stick on. I mean, it's not. Nowadays, if someone goes to a movie theater, it's not like they're going to think this really did happen. People do know that they're watching a movie, they're paying a ticket for it. So, we just went with the idea of, okay, let's not have huge stars, but let's have great actors. Let's try to assemble the best possible international cast that we could. Davey was extremely helpful in putting those names together. I remember the first actor who came on board was Mikael Nyqvist, whom I was a big fan of, and it was right away a great sign for the movie that he was on board. Ana Maria Marinka, who is the protagonist from 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days, had been on my wish list from day one. When I read the script, and it's interesting. As a side story. Originally, I was interested in her playing Katya, but she did a reading for Rosa, which was so amazing. That suddenly I was like, okay, we have our protagonist who will survive the longest here, and it was great when she was on board, and then Charlotte, Copley from District 9 came on board. Christian Daniel Wu from China, who's a huge star in China. This is, I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe it's his first English speaking role, right? Yes, and which was
He's American though, but
he's like a second generation Chinese, but he moved to China when he was I think 20, 21, and he became a huge star. He didn't come back, and this was the first time that he was shooting actually a movie here. And Karolina, actually, you were the last one to come on board, and among the six astronauts.
I found out like 5 days, no, it's 3 days, no, 2 days, 3 days or something before we started.
Yes, it was pretty late into the process, but there was you can talk about the science, putting on a spacesuit, and all the challenges behind speaking like a scientist.
Well, I spoke to marine biologists to get the information and just to get an idea of of her thinking and her experience and what it's like. And the spacesuit was 50 pounds, so it was really heavy. And I was the first one to go. And I remember I was telling Michael and Cheryl, I was like, just wait for it. Because it doesn't, it didn't seem like it was that heavy, but once you're in it and you have to be in it for a while, it's really draining. But yeah, they understood my pain after they got it in. But yeah, so speaking to a marine biologist and just understanding someone that comes from that world. And then it was an ensemble piece. I feel like we all would talk about the scene and everything, what we're getting ourselves into. And it was a great experience. It was a lot of fun. It didn't feel like a regular shoot because we're all in it together doing our thing and the cameras would just pick us up. You know what I mean? So that was really interesting and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. It was like it felt like a family basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you were on the ship and it was really small and they would lock the doors and you really almost felt claustrophobic in there. Because it was really, really small. It was great.
Yeah. The way we shot, just to add to what Karolina is saying, is we had this set built, the interior of the spaceship, which had the different cameras were incorporated into the set. We had 8 different cameras, which are part of the set dressing of the ship, and which were all shooting simultaneously. So literally, once we started shooting a scene, the set would close. There was no one from the crew that stayed in there. It was only the 6 actors, And I had this awful thing that I had to do, which was talk to them through a microphone
Oh, yeah.
from the outside
You
while
felt like
watching
God
these
was
8
talking
monitors.
to you.
Oh.
You were in there, all of a sudden,
Yes.
Sebastian said, cut! And then you would hear his voice giving notes.
Yes, it's terrible. And it's the first time that I do a film in English, and everyone's wearing headphones and listening to what I'm saying. There's no intimacy going to an actor and being able to talk to them, giving them some one-on-one advice. Now it's very public, very. That was probably one of the biggest challenges, and I hope I never have to do that process again.
You guys got some questions? Yeah, right here.
How did you film the gravity sequences?
It's a mixture of techniques. Anything. I mean, there's certain shots where there was some wire work, but not too much. There was only very few shots where we could do that. The shoot was very, very short. We shot the whole film in 19 days, and which we could because of the multiple cameras on one hand, but seems like the zero gravity stuff was a huge challenge. So in some scenes there was wire work that was later removed. There was also what we call the Borman's zero gravity, which was literally, and it's unbelievable now because it ended up working out. But we would have a character laying down on top of 1 or 2 green yoga balls, and then we would remove those yoga balls in post, or we would have someone.
It was not easy.
No,
they sent us to yoga for a few days to get us prepped for it.
Yes. So, but actually, there's very few zero gravity shots. It's just that they're arranged in a way so that it's we try to do the most out of them, but there's not that many of them. We had basically 1 day for the wire work.
Yeah.
19 days, and then we had several scenes where we had the yoga balls or different elements with someone helping out with like a green, like a green man who was.
Oh yes.
So,
There was a guy
wearing-
who was completely covered in green tight suit and he would cover his face and you just see this green guy walking around.
helping
And like
holding
he
someone.
hold your feet as you like flying through the air.
Very,
But
very
those are not
surreal.
very athletic.
But yeah, basically it was a mixture of that, and the film has there's a lot of obviously there's a lot of visual effects, not only in the worlds that were created outside the ship, but also inside the ship for those moments and for the whole texture of the different the radiation affecting the cameras as well as the gradual degradation of the footage.